Hey guys, Ezra here, and welcome back to another Ezra review. And today we're going to be reviewing this movie called Tron. Obviously, I'm doing this review to leading up to Tron Ares, I think, which is going to be the third Tron movie. And it's the first time I'm watching Tron. And interestingly enough, I did watch Tron Legacy when I was a kid, and I remember like kind of liking it because it was really cool. But it's been a long time since I watched that movie, and I never watched the first movie. So this is the first time I'm watching it, and I was like, wow, I don't know, man. I feel like I don't really have much to say about the movie particularly because I think this is the movie of its time, and you can really feel the aging of it, especially with the visual effects. And yeah, because the visual effects in this movie looks like a PS1 cutscene in a way, which like yeah, it was from the '82, so makes sense. And Tron itself, first time actually really paying attention to the plot is that it was actually focusing on main characters named Kevin Flynn, played by Jeff Bridges, where he's like a computer programmer for like a video game developers, and then he is transported into the software world where with the mainframe computer where basically he interacts with a bunch of programs in that system. And we got supporting cast played by bruceboxleither, David Warner, cindymorgan, and Barnard Hughes. And this essentially become the main plot about the movie where the company that Kevin Flynn was working with, the boss basically Dillinger, I think that's the boss name, was at Dillinger, where he's basically the vice president of Encom. He basically took credit for Flynn's work, and Flynn was basically kicked out of the company. But one day he was was visited by Alan and Laura, which is his friend and his co-workers of the company, and they decide to enter the company and maybe to expose like Dillinger's plan. And then because Dillinger is creating this like a huge, like wasn't a huge, but I guess like an artificial intelligence which is called the Master Control. And like the Master Control program, and then this program is controlling everything from the company. And it becomes way smarter than it is, and then it starts to disobeying orders. So Flynn is trying to basically expose all of this plan, but during his planning he was sucked into the computer world. It's kind of funny to me because like I was watching this, I was like, oh, this is kind of like the Matrix. Even though that this movie came out way before the Matrix, but I feel like yeah, there is the similarities is kind of there if you really look into it. And it was like, yeah, okay. So pretty much for the rest of the movie we are spending time in the world of Tron, which honestly I did not expect that to be like, okay, when Kevin's character enters the world, I was expecting maybe we get to see Alan and Laura tries to like maybe communicate with him in some way or form. I was expecting that kind of plot point, but that's not the case, because once we enter the world of Tron, we're just there from beginning to end, which I think, wow, okay, I kind of like it, to be honest, because the plot is becoming much more focused. But pretty much like the plot was kind of like very linear and very simple, so I have nothing much to say. Because I think the characters are and the storyline are okay. Like you understand what the plot was, but I feel like it wasn't that complex, and it was simple, and it was just like, yeah, I mean, sure. And I'll be honest, when the movie was starting, I wasn't exactly hooked immediately, but once we get to the explaining the character's motivation, and then we get to the world of Tron, I was like, okay, I was kind of engaged, but not entirely, because I guess I don't know if you can count this as a criticism, but I think the visual effects in this movie are obviously really outdated. And I understand that at the time this might be like a really groundbreaking special effects, because this movie is directed by Steven Lisberger, and I'm sure that his work, for Tron and the VFX worker as well, like it was praised at the time, for being like a groundbreaking computer animation, which I understand, I'm 82, but I feel like now you certainly feel the age of the movie, and I was like sitting here like completely bewildered watching this, like sort of like a really like I don't know, in my mind I was like a PS1 cutscene in a way where it's just like a really old video gamey cutscene, because they are entering a video game world, and it does feels like a video game at the time, So I think at the time it works, but now with like the advanced video game and advanced like visual effects and CGI, I was like kind of taken aback by that, to the point that, oh wow, this is like the entire movie, just a bunch of visual effects, that was like actually pretty dated, and we get to see this character wearing like a really, like, in my opinion, kind of like ridiculous suit in a way. Looks ridiculous to me because I think I guess like the background and the VFX work, and of course the actor, I don't think they are composite that well, in the scene, because sometimes I can feel that this character are just like in nowhere, because sometimes that they're not composited well into the scene, and I can definitely see that a lot, So that's why it kind of takes me out of the movie a bit, But at the same time, I don't think I can really blame the movie itself, because again, it's a product of its time. I understand why some people like it, because throughout the entire time I was watching Tron, I was basically was like, oh my god, like this could have been amazing if we make this movie with the current technology, with the current visual effects, the Tron world would be really cool. And we already got that with the sequel, Tron Legacy, which I just also recently rewatched for the first time, and it was like, yeah, gotta say, man, Tron Legacy is way better than the first movie, in my opinion. Again, I'm not here to shit on anybody's opinion. That if you like this movie, if you love this movie, maybe you are an audience from like 1982, then yeah, go for it. I understand that. But I think for me, it was like, okay, it's an okay movie. Like, it doesn't necessarily blow my mind, because again, the VFX and the green screen and all that kind of stuff, it was just like, like, it kind of took me out of the movie. And I think the world of Tron like could be interesting, but because of how everything looks in the movie, I just kind of found them to be like really goofy, and then it just like, I don't know, like, it wasn't really super interesting for me, and I think the characters are kind of like flip-flopping as well sometimes, especially the Laura characters, which I understand that throughout the rest of the movie, Kevin was like a user, the real person, got transformed to the game, and then we get to see Alan and Laura's character in the game itself, but they were programmed. So I think Alan in the game was actually Tron, basically like a security program developed by Alan himself, to basically I guess like to defeat maybe like the master communicator in a way. So that's the goal the entire time, and that's what they're trying to do, master control program, where they try to eliminate that. And yeah, it was a simple storyline, but I feel the characters are just okay. To be honest, it wasn't that interesting to me, so I was like, I don't know. But either way, I think, in my opinion, I still like the movie. I don't think I'm going to be honest, I don't think I'm going to rewatch it again. I don't have the desire to rewatch the first Tron movie. Like, I understand that it was special for so many people, but for me, I was just like, I don't know, it was just like, it was okay. I like it. I enjoy my time watching it, but because of like the dated like CGI, or like the VFX, and then like the rest of the environment of the movie, because the entire movie took place in this video game world, I was kind of like, again, took away from that because how dated everything looks. But again, I can't really blame that on the movie, so it's a bit conflicting. So yeah, either way, I guess that's my review and opinion for Tron. Again, not a long review because I don't have anything much to say about the movie. It was like a simple movie. I enjoy my time, but of course, I think the Tron Legacy, the sequel, is obviously much better for me because of like the current VFX, and I think the storyline itself, with the characters' relationship in the Legacy sequel was actually much better, in my opinion, because the character relationship in this movie are just like very flat surface, and I don't really feel any connection between the two, between all three characters, in my opinion. So I was just like, I don't know, like, I don't really care that much for them, so that's how I feel. Either way, guys, that's my review for Tron. Let me know, guys, in the comment section below, what do you guys think about this movie right here. Are you guys someone who actually really, really love Tron, or are you guys actually someone like me, where I think that this movie was very outdated, and I think it kind of like took me out, from the movie? So let me know your opinions in the comment section below. And if you guys enjoyed this movie review, then make sure you guys, raise that subscribe button and the like button, and share the videos to your stuff. And stay tuned for Tron Legacy sequel review. Should be out before Tron Aries, which is gonna be on October 8th in my country, which is 2 weeks from now. So look forward to my Tron Legacy review. I think on that review I will be much more like, I have a lot more to say with the sequel because I absolutely love that sequel. It's really special in my place. So yeah, look forward to that, guys. And again, I hope you guys enjoy this review, and I will see you guys in the next one then. Bye.